Okay, it's recording. It didn't say we're recording, but the meeting is being recorded. This is the April 9th board meeting. I think we have I have a lot of people to admit. Anthony, I'm going to make you a co-host so you can admit people.
Yeah.
Okay, you're a co-host now. So if you see somebody come in and I don't see them, please admit them.
Okay.
Okay, welcome everybody to the April 9th board meeting. We are putting in our names and our job on the board so that people who are new will know who we are, and also it helps Nora with the minutes. So the first thing on the the first thing on the agenda is the membership report, and I'm proud to say that number one, we've come to hit my goal of 2,000. We are now at 2026. And in February, we got 28 new members. And in March, we got 29 new members. And I have to say that this is directly related to those, I call them small dose PD events that we've been having. They really bring in membership. So I appreciate everybody doing all the work that they're doing on getting up events going, and Marcia for putting them on the calendar, and everybody else for doing the events. It's been great. And I really think it's driving our membership. Right. So the minutes. So I stop sharing, Nora?
I'm sorry. I have been in Zoom all day. I don't have the minutes open.
Okay. So
but did you link to them?
I don't have them. Lily didn't put them in.
Okay, well, come back to me. I'll find them and I'll add the link to the agenda so that people can open, but hopefully they will have already been reviewed prior to the meeting, and it's just a...
Yeah, I did read them, but I don't know about the other people. So we'll go on to Nirmala with the financials then.
Sure, I'm just going to go ahead and yes, please. And then I'm going to go ahead and share in the chat box the link to the
and let me give you privilege. Hold on.
Yes, that's the Zoom link.
Yeah,
my sharing the okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Am I sharing the link to my presentation slides? There it is. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. Great to see you all. And I'm here to present our financial report. So let me just take you to my screen. Just bear with me here.
Thank you, Margie.
And okay, I have a lot of windows open, so here it is. All right. So to start off, I'm going to be reporting the period from February 1st. Can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. From February 1st all the way through April 8th. That was yesterday. And good news, starting from February 1st, we had the starting balance of 27,245 and 32 cents. And then from there, we had deposits. We had a revenue of about 6,000, okay, a little over 6,000. And that's from the registration, membership, and thanks to the what Susan called the small dose PD seminars. So, and also the IG chapters and local chapter events. So thanks to you all. So a big shout out to all of those who have contributed well to this amount of money. And then as far as expenses, we have all these checks, Transnational Bank, Authorize.net, and the VEITH Consulting website. So let me start off with the checks. So those are the ones that we've spent our outstanding debt, like Show Gear, Susan Gear, and Ellen Lang. And so far we've paid off Ellen Lang and Show Gear. So we just owe Susan about 2,600. All right. And then so a total expenses would be $11,570.86. And so from the 27,000, we add 6,000, and then we subtracted 11,000. And so our net amount by the end of February is about 21,834. All right, moving on to the March and April, we also have expenses, same thing, checks, Transnational Bank, authorized.net, and VEET. And so the checks, they're comprised of 5,000 from 5,000 to Joan Morrison, who helped us with the hotel and the consulting with the Pasadena conference in fall 2022. And then, of course, we had some expenses like Susan Gear and all the other expenses. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry. Okay, and then Transnational Bank, as you know, is the one that processes our bank transactions for Bank of America. And authorized.net is the one that clears and approves the member leap from our website. And of course, VEET Consulting website is the one that is spent for our website depending on the number of members. So we now have, as of April 8th, this is just a snapshot of our existing balance, 18,897. And of course, this can change minute by minute. If we have registrations coming up and membership that are coming in, this 18,000 definitely changes. So, so yeah, kudos to everyone. And knowing that this is an all volunteer organization, I'm just well pleased to announce to you that we're doing well financially. All right. And then moving on. So here it is. Ta-da! Okay, this is great news for everyone. From 101,241.86 of a debt since 2019, we now have 2,600 just outstanding balance, that what we owe, and that's with Susan Gear. So good job everyone for doing their best to help out in reducing our debt. All right, and then moving on, I don't know if this is a good time to share that I have volunteered to be the co-chair for the annual conference in 2022, fall 2022 in Pasadena. And I am pleased to announce to you that we have paid 15,000 and we still owe 46,000. So right before we get into the door of the Pasadena conference, we have to make sure that we pay this 46,000. But good thing we're able to do well in our spring conference as far as the numbers are concerned. So yeah, there's actually no worry. I don't think there's a reason to worry about this 46,000 to be paid in August 2022. And so lastly, I just want to ask you if there's anything that you want me to clarify, anything, because we're doing our best to be transparent here, and we want to make sure that we're disclosing everything to you. So if there's anything that's unclear, anything that you need further clarification, please feel free to ask any questions on the chat, or anything that you'd like to add, any comments or input, or maybe a suggestion on how we can make this better. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to share. So thank you all for listening.
Nirmala, I'd like
turn
to
it
do
over.
a shout out to Los Padres for their conference because they did their report. So we have some information here. Therese just sent in, I guess, the report. So I emailed it to you, but I can't find it in my email.
All right, shout out to Los Padres. Yes.
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
gonna.
Thank you.
Here it is.
For
Here it is. Here it
sending
is.
the report.
I want to put in how much money they made. So it looks like they made $1,920 in their conference.
Woohoo!
So that's
All
excellent.
right, great job, Los Padres.
bad news.
And we're still waiting on Orange County's report. So when that comes in, I'm going to share my screen, but I'm trying to get the agenda up correctly. Do you see the agenda?
Not yet.
No,
Well, we see a lot of other stuff.
but not the agenda. Okay, so
Nothing.
let's try again. Sometimes it doesn't share the way you want.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, here we go. That should do it now. You see the agenda now?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Okay. So we can do the minutes now, right?
Yes.
They're linked. So I'll open them up, I guess. Or yeah, I'll just open them here. And somebody, I cannot move until October when I'm past president. So somebody could move to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Nice. Second.
Okay, and is there any discussion?
I went through all the minutes and put in all my comments, so I think the secretary has taken care of my comments and suggestions and stuff like that. So I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, can we take a vote? Put your name in the chat pod and say you approve or you abstain, or if you're a voting member, only voting
Oh,
members
guess what?
now.
I can't move, can I? Because I'm not.
No, you can't move, right?
I was
You're
going to
not a
say, I
voting-
don't think Susan can move,
I
or
can't
that
move.
Marcia can move.
Marcia can move. Nirmala can move.
Okay, I can move.
And who can second?
You
I'll
can
sec.
second Susan King.
Oh, no, I don't think I can vote. I think that's all I can do. Okay, Anthony seconded.
I'll second
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
Normala moves and Anthony seconds.
Right, okay, and then please put your name in the chat box and whether you vote yes, no, or abstain. Only voting members.
Yeah.
If you don't know you're a voting member or not, then you're probably not.
One, two, three, four.
Marcia, you might want to turn your video off while you're.
All right, I think the motion passes.
Okay, great. All right, let's go back to the
I
agenda.
was kind of liking the workout. I was going to join her.
Okay,
Marty, pick him up. Pick him up.
It was inspiration for me to get off my chair, or since I don't get across my chair, I thought it would be a good idea. I kind of got an idea from her.
okay, so we've done the financials, so now we're going to finally approve, I hope, this new IG. So we haven't, the last time we met, we didn't have an assistant coordinator, but now we have an assistant coordinator. So I think all we need to do now is to vote to approve this new IG, which is, the name is what? I should put the name in there, Margie.
Oh yeah, what did we decide on the name?
Corpus Informed Research and Teaching.
Corpus Informed.
Kurt.
What are you gonna call it? How are you
Kurt?
gonna pronounce it?
CIRT. CIRT. Corpus
Corpus.
Informed Research and Teaching.
And are you gonna call it anything? I mean, are you gonna pronounce that acronym?
Oh,
Kurt.
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 Yeah. I mean, if you prefer, we could do curl and it could be teaching and learning, but or research and learning, but I kind of liked Kurt.
Okay, well, let's go with what you like because we need the
Sure.
name to be accurate or we cannot vote.
The corpus, so for the secretary, Corpus Informed with a dash, a hyphen, research and teaching.
Where does the hyphen go? Excuse me.
Between corpus and informed.
Got it. I'm in the minutes. You don't see the minutes, but I've got it in the minutes. Thanks.
I trust you.
Okay, so we need to vote on this, so I need somebody to move. Maybe Anthony. Oh, Bentley
Bentley
moved.
just moved.
Okay, okay, and then somebody to second.
I can second it. Okay.
Thank you, Anthony. Okay, so in the chat box, all in favor of adding this new IG to our group, please type in your name and yes, no, or abstain if you're a voting member.
Okay, and Anthony seconded. Did I hear that
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks.
Congratulations, Margie. You have a new
Yay.
IG. It took a longer time than I thought it would take.
Thanks, everybody. Now all I have to do is figure out what an IG coordinator does. Okay. Talk to you
Bentley will
soon.
help you with that. Bentley will help you. Okay, so I want to talk about a partnership that we have. CCAE, which is the California Council of Adult Ed, has partnered with us. And the partnership is that they give us a free exhibit space and we give them a free exhibit space. Their exhibit space is worth about $1,000. They're using Huva this year for their conference. And we're going to get stuff to put in the booth for, people who come and go. But we need somebody to be at the booth from 10 to 11:30 on April 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Now, normally I would agree to do this, but it is my 65th birthday that week, and I am going to be fully vaccinated, so I am traveling. So I need somebody, maybe we have 3 people, one person on the 21st, one person on the 22nd, one person on the 23rd is from 10 to 11:30. If you can help, can you email me and let me know so that I don't put, Margie, you raised your hand.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you say what CCAE stands for again?
Yeah, California Council of Adult Education. And they're really good in the political side. They're very strong. And a lot of adult ed people that are not members of Catesol go to that conference. So it really, hopefully, will get some more memberships once we show them what we're doing. So yeah, just send me an email. We have some time, but we do need to get 3 people. From 10 to 11:30, if you have an hour and a half, 21st, 22nd, or 23rd, just let me know and I'll book you for that. Okay, so I think that's enough. Yeah, Anthony, you have a question?
Susan, just a kind of an additional thing about that. So with the booth space, so this is the CCA, their annual conference, their state annual conference. So with the booth space comes the ability, I believe, to maybe upload some resources or handouts, or perhaps I know that we've produced a few short videos recently about Catesol and Catesol membership and things like that. So it would be good for the person who, or people who actually can help out, if possible, to just kind of bone up a little bit on the Catesol website, for example. Like, you might want to show people, like, our PD offerings, how to become a member, a few other things on the Catesol website that you may want to point out. So, and maybe between now and then, Susan, you and me and can figure out maybe some resources, or if people have suggestions for resources that could be shared in that booth space, that would be great. So, we might also want to point out, we're active on social media, so encourage people to follow us on social media. So let's just think about sort of collectively, how do we promote Catesol at this type of an event? So.
And Margie says we should promote the spring conference, which we will do.
Yes, of course.
We might even,
we should
I was
promote our
thinking,
own conference. Yes.
what do you think if we opportunity draw a membership for them? One full year membership and have people sign up, and then one person who comes will get a membership and the other people hopefully will become members. I don't know.
That sounds good.
Is that something we
Anthony,
need to take an action item on?
oh, sorry, Anthony, I
Yeah.
had my hand up.
I'm sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no worries. It was just to Anthony's point with regard to getting whoever is at the booth. I guess we can get some social media, any of the films that we've put together that focus on either the 10 reasons or any of the profiles, or any of the JPEGs that have that information about membership and the perks of membership. And we can even put together on this end, I can put together something like a social media package for whoever is at the booth.
Okay, great. Thank you, Nancy.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
sure.
do we need to vote on this idea of maybe Margie even suggests maybe even a conference registration? That would be nice. They're not very expensive, so. Do we need to vote on that, you think? Because it's money? We should probably vote just to be safe. So, Anthony, will you move?
Okay. So, all right. So I move that Catesol offer a free, let's see, offer a free membership and or spring conference registration
I think we should,
I
as
don't
a,
think we can, I don't think you should say and or. I think it has to be
we need to do one or the other.
and or.
I'm wondering if maybe we should just approve it since we're at the board at the moment, and maybe later just make a decision what we really want to do at the end. If that's why I'm saying an and or.
Well, that and or doesn't make sense because it sounds too would-be. And we're
You
talking
just say
about- we should just
and.
just do one.
Okay. All right. So we'll do both. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. Would these things go to the same person then?
Two
No,
different,
two
Two
different.
separate
Yeah.
items.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Let's reverse here.
And don't use the word raffle, as you know.
Right.
what's the replacement word?
Opportunity drawing.
Opportunity drawing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Catesol, I move that Catesol will offer one free membership and one spring conference registration to visitors to the Catesol booth at the CCAE 2021 state conference.
Perfect.
So that means that everybody who comes to the booth and
Be entered.
has to sign in so that they will be spun on a name list to get the winner.
Yeah, I should say,
Yeah.
right, offer via an opportunity drawing. So not one per visitor, but
Right,
one
right.
in the drawing.
And we'll probably use a Google form for that and have them fill it out if they're not a member. If they're a member, they're not going to want a membership. So only non-members would fill that out.
Right.
So yeah, I think that is very doable. Do I have a second?
Could you read it again?
Yeah, Nora, could you read that back?
Anthony moves to offer via an opportunity drawing one free membership and one spring conference registration to visitors to the Catesol booth at the CCAE annual conference in April.
Can you say to two?
And yes, and then I said to two well, I didn't craft it, but basically
The two separate individuals.
two separate, oh, I said two separate items to offer. Oh, to two separate individuals. Okay.
Okay, can somebody second? Wish I could.
I
second.
second that.
That's Nirmala. Okay,
Nirmala,
Nirmala
thank you.
second. Okay. Okay, all those in favor, put your name in yes or no or abstain. While we're on the voting, we should probably do the last voting action item. Get that all done with.
Okay, that passes.
Okay, great. So let's just do this last red item here. And this is from Randy. Randy, would you like to talk about this? Let's see here, I have it under
Sure.
levels. Okay,
Sure, Susan, thank you. At our last meeting of the Los Padres chapter officers, it was raised that we have started the process to move our web content from its existing place lospadrescatesol.org onto the new section of catesol.org when that section is ready. And Marcia is going to be working to get that ready for us. But then it came up that we have another opportunity to hold on to our domain, lospadrescatesol.org, as a placeholder with a redirect routine that would send visitors on the web from our old domain to the new place when it's set up and running. And that's to our advantage because, Los Padres Catesol shows up in Google searches and other search engines, and anybody clicking on us in a search engine search result would be taken to a site not found or some kind of error message unless we have our domain sort of maintained. And this would cost the organization approximately $10 per year. That was the estimate we got from our webmaster. So we are wondering if Catesol can support us at the rate of $10 estimated per year to keep doing this.
So I'm all for this myself. I think it's worthwhile, but I don't know how others feel.
Just a
Elise.
question. Are we talking about indefinitely or just during the transition to the new site?
So far, we're talking about indefinitely.
Or until the search engine stops showing up with it, and it will happen where eventually when it doesn't have nobody going there, it will stop showing up on Google. And so then maybe at that point it would be, but that's like a year or two away.
That sounds reasonable.
We can revisit it. How's that? So we've got you covered until February of next year. So it would be from February of next year, so maybe we should bring this back up, Randy, when it comes closer to where you have to give up the website.
This is not the same thing. A web domain name is not the same thing as the website. So in our previous meeting at the board, we agreed to pay for the website, but we did not discuss the domain name. Is that correct, Randy?
Correct.
That is correct.
So this is a kind of, it's tangential, but it's a separate issue. I mean, it's a separate pile of money to a different organization that does domain names.
Right, but it would allow people who click on the search link to know that
is where we haven't already determined this. So if we want to formalize it, we would probably say, yes, we agree to provide the $10 per year for N number of years and then revisit it at some point later on.
Yeah.
That's my suggestion.
Good. So should we do that now then? Can somebody move? And Marcia, you can't move, but you can word it for us in the chat box.
Okay.
Will somebody move? So move what Marcia said, and Marcia will type it in the chat box, right?
Oh, I will. What am I'm typing? Okay.
What you just said,
Okay.
so that Nora can put it in the minutes and we can vote and get going.
That we support the domain name of, what is it, Los Padres Catesol?
LosPadresCatesol.org. At a cost of $10 per year for 2 years. After the end of the website, so that would be another year. So it's almost 3 years, Randy.
Yes.
For 2 more years?
No, well, they have a year of the whole website being up. So that ends at like next February. So it would be 2 years after that.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, does that, well, I guess I should ask for clarification from Randy. Does what we voted on the previous meeting include the domain name?
We did not vote on, or you, the board of directors, did not vote on this new proposal. this wasn't part of what I originally brought in front of the board last time.
So is it, I think you and I are clear that a website and the domain are two different things. And you
Right.
force the website, which we agreed upon before. Now you're bringing forth the domain name, which is a separate issue. So if we are to vote on the domain name, we need to say something like this. Let me just read what I've written so far. We move that we support that Catesol support the domain name of lospadrescatesol.org at a cost of $10 per year for 2 more years.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is that good?
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good.
I'm gonna stick that in there and somebody, well, I wrote we moves. Sorry about that, guys. So
Somebody needs to
name-
move.
name needs to be put into the place of the word we.
Lily, would you move for us?
Taking notes at the minute.
I
All
could
right.
move-
I
Okay,
move
Kara,
that-
well, okay.
I could move that. Sorry, I'll put on my camera. Sorry about the noise in the background. I moved that
Okay.
Catesol support. Oh God, the language of.
No, how about if we just write Kara? Kara moves and then all that blah, blah, blah that I wrote in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Because I was trying to remember
Okay,
exactly
So
what you
can
said. in the
can
fancy-
somebody second?
I'll
Please.
second it.
Thank you, Anthony. And then put your vote in the chat box, please. We have one more action item actually after this. We'll just get all the action items done at once. Okay, so looks like that one's passing. All right, the last action item, and this is something I'm not sure is actually an action item, but I think we should bring it up to the board. Marcia, did you want to talk about this one?
Yes, I do. Oh, okay. So in terms of, I, as an administrator, you and I, and those of us who are administrators on the Member League website or the Members League whole thing site, we can get into the event registration information and know who signed up for what things. And let's just say, for instance, that a sponsor, advertiser, exhibitor, somebody who is sponsoring one of our events says, okay, well, we're going to offer something free to everybody and we want your name list. Let's say they ask us for that. I think we need to say that we're not releasing our members' information without their permission. I mean, that's just an issue that I think that if a company wants to give free things to everybody, then that they should say, okay, we have this free offer, sign up here, and then they collect the data from individuals who volunteer to give their contact information. That we as an organization do not just blanketly send out the list of people who attended our events.
Is that written anywhere?
Well, I don't know that it is. I would like to propose that we accept this as a policy. If you know that it's written somewhere, great. Tell me.
No, what I recommend is writing it and then having the board adopt it. Write the policy that you want to post, and then we can approve it via email vote
Where does stuff like this go?
on the website.
Well, it doesn't. No, it doesn't mean that every policy we have has to be on the website. But I mean, like, I don't know what our history is about. Like I know we have certain bylaws, and that's kind of very general. But when we start coming up with things like, let's just say this is one of other policies, especially because now we're in a remote working world that is a little bit different than face-to-face. But we also, for example, way back when, we also had a policy about using people's photographs. And we said, you're allowing us to use your photograph unless you write to the office and say, don't use my photograph for your promotional materials, right? So where did that go? I mean, like, we voted on it, but did it go somewhere where we can say, we're going to look up that policy?
Outside of the minutes, I don't know where that went. And I think it's a good idea to create an operations guide, which I suggested a long time ago, but that's an enormous amount of work. So as a volunteer organization, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay, well, I think that this is one of those things that has to go in a similar place that, that the collective can go back and recall. I mean, there are documents, there's a space for board votes and so forth to go in Memberleap that we can start putting stuff there. But I'm, you know, I don't know organizationally how this works.
Well,
Like,
okay, speaking,
go ahead.
Lily showed me a board zone in Memberleap, and we can keep documents there, so that's where it should live. But what I propose is that if there's new language of a policy, that the language be written prior to a board meeting for the board to review and approve, rather than
So-
craft it on the fly.
I understand that, but we're kind of at a situation where we have to have a policy.
Okay, can you
Before-
type it into the chat?
Marcia,
Oh, you want me to type another thing in the chat?
what the policy would be? That I would say Catesol does not release members' information without their permission.
That's simple.
Yeah. That's what I would say.
Anthony has his hand up.
Yes, Anthony.
So we do have or have had this policies and procedures guide that I still can't seem to get my hands on. I think that, you know, that might be a logical place for this type of an, you know, a motion to end up in. So, but I mean, I also agree with what Nora's saying. Like, I think we should maybe think this through a little bit. I think we could maybe just make, you know, in this, I know that there's a particular instance that we're looking at right now. And maybe for that instance, we can just say, you know, we recommend that this is what the vendor should do, or this is what we recommend. This is what Catesol would like the vendor to do, you know, in this particular case. But something just kind of blanket statement, like we'll never get, you know, I think we need to kind of, I mean, I think that's a good idea, but I think we should be a little bit more careful with the language that we craft. And so I'm in favor of Nora's suggestion.
Okay, well, I just crafted a statement. We can look at it and we can maybe mull this over. I mean, I think in terms of the concept, do we have people who agree with this concept or disagree with this concept? Should we-
Agree.
I agree with the concept.
Okay, well, we agree with the concept and we should go forth and say whether a statement like this, it's kind of short and simple. And I don't know that it needs any other parts, but another thing is to investigate what other nonprofits do if they have a statement that we like and we can borrow.
You know, I think in the previous lifetime, vendors would get people to sign up for the raffle face to face. So this is coming up because we're remote.
Yeah, well,
So
so my recommendation was like, they can go and get it themselves. They can make their own Google form or just say, email us at info@what, and then we'll
Or-
get you a free see.
yeah, I agree. So can we vote on this statement for just now? And then we will, you know,
Okay, so we want to vote on whether we approve of the statement. Catesol does not release
Or-
the contact information of members and non-member event registrants without their express permission.
right. And then we will suggest that the person who wants to give out the freebies will do a Google form on their own.
Yeah. I like that. I mean, I don't think we need to tell them what they ought to do it because there's probably a lot of different ways they can do it. I think if we state this much, then that means that, oh, they have to find another way.
So do we need to vote on this since it's just going to be like, it's an interim thing?
Do we need
I
to?
mean, if we vote, if we all agree, does everybody kind of feel like this is good?
You can do your thumbs up or down if you want to do that.
I mean, just from a general point of view for now, because we need to get through this
Yeah.
situation.
Okay. Yeah.
Lily's got up. I'm good.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. So let's go
Susan?
with, yeah.
Sorry, I'm good with it as well. I'm just devil's advocate here. You know, what if the vendor came back and said, well, can you ask for their express permission?
We're going to
Catesol-
ask them to do their own thing.
Right,
They
no,
can-
I'm just saying in terms of the statement that's been presented so far, like we would tell the vendor this, but then they, you know, what stops them from coming back to us and say, oh, well, could you please ask for everyone's express permission so that we
We
can.
will just say, no, you have to do
No,
it
you-
yourself.
Right, you have to do
Yeah,
yourself.
that's why I'm saying that maybe per Nora's suggestion, I think we think about this a little bit more and craft some
Right,
airtight
but for the,
language. So
but for
yes,
the
for the moment,
immediate
yes,
moment,
yes,
let's use this. Okay, thank
yes.
you. All right, I think that's good. I don't think we really need a vote on this because it's not formal. So we'll
Okay,
just use this for
fine.
now. Okay, so going back to the agenda, number 7, now we're done with all the action items. The TESOL Advocacy Summit, we get a 50% off registration for one person who wants to go to the summit, which is really great. It really fits for adult ed and community college and K-12. Judy used to go all the time. She's still thinking that she might be able to go, but she's had knee replacement surgery and she's still grieving her husband who died recently. And I think that we should find somebody else who would be interested in going. So we need to know by, it's in June, right, Anthony? It's in June. So we don't need to know right away. But if you're interested, Nancy raised her hand. Yes. You're muted, Nancy, if you're talking.
Oh, sorry about that. Yes, I would definitely be interested in representing the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force.
Okay, great. And if there's other people who are interested, just email us and Nancy, we've noted that you're interested and
That's
we'll
great.
see who is interested and we'll figure it out. We have lots of time. It's not until June. Just wanted to bring that up. Yeah,
Susan,
Anthony?
two things. One is that it's virtual this year, so it's
Yes.
virtual. And two, you know, there is kind of the specification about somebody from the K-12 realm or adult ed, just because I believe that the advocacy presentations are sort of geared towards those levels of students. Yeah, let's see who's interested, but we may want to be a little strategic in terms of who we think about having attend, just because somebody with the background of K-12 or adult ed might get it might be better suited to them because they those are the levels that we're looking at. So
Right, so just go ahead and
Yeah,
email.
a good
Yeah.
idea to put this out to the K-12 and the adult ed message boards and see if there's somebody who would.
I prefer we get a board member to do this because it's that high a level. And I think we really should get somebody who's on the board who's interested in this. So,
Mhm. Okay,
so we'll take people who are interested and we'll figure out how to do this.
good. Cool.
Okay. All right, so that's that. Anthony, you're number 8. You want to share the screen or not? No, I guess you don't need to.
no, I'll just talk. Okay, so the item is nominations for our spring election. So first of all, thank you everyone for doing the work so far to gather nominations of interested persons for the upcoming spring election. Again, this is for the board starting in or soon after the state conference in the fall. So, and we have the variety of positions, all of the levels, the assistants to the chairs would be or the assistants of the level chairs, an assistant secretary, a assistant for the IG chair, and then the 2 new positions, the DEI chair, and then the assistant to that chair position. So those are all the positions that we're recruiting nominations for. So we just passed the initial deadline of Monday, April 5th. And we actually received at least 1 nomination for most of those positions, however, not all of those positions. So I was speaking with Susan and we are reopening or extending the deadline for the nominations. So the new deadline will be Monday, April 19. And I think we really have to be very kind of hard and fast with that deadline, only because Susan and I will need some time to work in Memberly to create the ballot that will go out to members with all of the nominated people and their statements and photos and things like that. So again, the deadline has been extended for another 10 days or so. So we're asking that you sort of keep asking among your colleagues, you know, for them to consider nominating themselves for a position for the board. All of the when a person actually looks at the nomination form itself, all of the positions are listed there. There's also a link to the descriptions for the positions that we have. And then there's also a link actually to a candidate statement if somebody needs some inspiration for crafting one of those for themselves. But basically that's kind of where things stand at the moment. So we're very close actually to getting at least one nomination per each of those positions. We just need a kind of a final push for you know, gathering more nominations as best we can. So any questions about that?
Margie has a question.
Margie has a
Can
question.
you tell us which one have only one, or most of them have only one, but who has 0?
Right, most of them have only one. There are a couple that have 2. And then the ones that don't have any at all are the IEP level assistant and the IG chair assistant. But all
So
the other ones, we
Bentley.
have at least one, yeah.
Bentley.
I did, yeah, I've been emailing folks or
Yes.
people around, so Bentley knows we've been in incommunicado, so.
Yeah, and Prima
Or
says
in
she's been
communication.
trying, but she doesn't know what to do.
I know, yeah.
We need to
Yes,
find somebody.
we're looking for the assistant chair because we have the person moving
Right.
up. Danielle is
Right.
moving up.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So we need maybe from the IGs themselves, Bentley, maybe somebody.
Yeah, we have our next meeting on Monday, so we'll address that and then go start looking.
Reagan's asking a question. I'll adjust that question to Nirmala in a minute, Reagan. That's
Actually,
a different.
Susan, can I just follow up with Bentley's? With Bentley. So is there anything, I mean, what are folks hearing, you know, when you have these discussions with folks? I mean, is there any hesitation that we can address on people's parts, or
So you're speaking about my question of finding someone to do TU, right?
to do
Teaching English in the workplace, because I've been in that role also for 2 years, and in that email I had written you, I said we're looking for someone to step in to be that coordinator position as well.
So Bentley,
But that
this is
doesn't
only
go on the ballot.
Yeah, this is only the elected the elected position. So we're only talking about the IG chair assistant.
Yeah, so there has not been any discussion on that. So yeah,
Okay.
only I was referring to the other one.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Critical for us is that we find somebody to run in that position.
yeah, and I'm happy also. I mean, if you have folks, or you know, actually for any of the positions, really.
Okay.
I mean, if you have folks and if you want them, you know, I'm happy to talk to them. If you want to put me in touch with people who are, you know, have questions or curious about
absolutely.
serving on the board, yeah,
Glad
I'm
to do
happy
it.
to do that.
Okay, so to get Reagan's question here about financial standing, I think any Catesol member should know our financial standing, and that's why we're being transparent with you as a board. So that's my opinion. I don't know what other people's opinion is to share with the membership of how we're doing financially. I think it's important for people
Well, as a
to know.
nonprofit, it's public record anyway. So
Right. So I
That's-
think you can share it, Reagan. That's my
Yeah.
thought.
Okay, great. So what Nirmala shared in the very beginning, just, you know, where we're at right now, I took a note on that. I can just post that in that message board question.
I would, that it won't really explain to people. I mean, I think it needs to have a description about what that all means. Because I don't think anybody looking at, without Nirmala's explanation of it, I'm not sure people would really understand it, but I guess you could. I mean, we're.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean like I didn't take a screenshot or something. I just had like the
No,
number.
She has the PowerPoint in the chat box. Nirmala,
Okay.
can you post that again? But my concern
Yeah,
is that
sure.
somebody looks at that and they might not understand what it means without some
Yeah.
explanation.
So I think members are welcome to join this meeting, right?
I don't know if they come. I mean, we haven't given them the Zoom link, so they can't really come to this meeting. But it might be good, maybe we could do a little audio, Nirmala, on that PowerPoint with what it means.
Sure, I'm happy to do that because I know just by looking at the slides, some people may just say, huh? So there's got to be a little
Margie,
bit of an explanation.
Margie's got her hand up.
Yeah, it was just a question.
Yeah, I think part of the issue is that the context that Susan was talking about is that, you know, where we were before versus where we are now. Meaning, if you just looked at it, it may not look like we're in that good of shape, and we still have work to do. But relatively speaking, we're on much firmer footing than we were before. And so you want to make sure that we give some context around those numbers to show how we've been increasing our membership, how we've been lowering our debt, and how we're on our way up, as opposed to you know, where we were before. So that's, I think, the numbers on their own do need that narrative.
So maybe Nirmala and I could do a little short video, 5-minute video
Yeah.
going through that, and then you could post that, Reagan. How's that?
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Or
Okay, we'll
or
do that.
If I may suggest the one that I just presented, you know how this is recording at this time?
Oh,
Is it
right.
possible to have that captured, just that
Yep.
little short
Yep.
video clip?
Yep.
So
Good
instead
idea.
of reinventing, yeah.
Good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah,
I will take care of that.
and then just share out the link.
Mhm.
You'll do that. You can just share out the link.
Yeah.
I will
have-
post the MP4. It's going to be an MP4 file. I'll post it on the board message list, and then the board members can share with their constituents.
Susan, can I suggest a sort of step that might make that easier? Is
Mm-hmm.
we could post that on our private YouTube channel if you want, which is unlisted, and we could
Yeah.
then give people the link. That's typically
Share
what
a link. Yeah, I think it makes
Yeah.
more sense to share a link
Okay.
as opposed to
Yeah.
uploading a big video file.
Okay, that's what we'll do. Give us a week or two, okay?
Thank you.
And coming back to the previous point, I'm pretty sure, Nora, you can jump in here, but I'm pretty sure members are allowed to attend board meetings. They just have to request
Register.
it, and we would give them access to do so. They're not barred from attending board meetings if they want to.
No, I think they have to register, but Marcia, do they even see that they can register for a board meeting?
I think that,
They
so
do. It's listed under events.
I put everything on the calendar, and then they go to, but then the question is whether it's open to board members only or whether everyone can come.
That I don't know.
It's
Well,
just,
I-
I
But
think
no,
it's
I have to set up the event that way. And I don't remember on the top of my head if I made it only for board members, which I could have done. But if it's
it is.
if it's open for all members, then any member can show up.
It's
Yeah.
just board members.
So one time where we had to have Joan get the link separately because she was a non-member.
Yeah, so it's definitely set up for board members right now. And personally, I think that's the way it should be. But people can ask, like people can send a.
Like
send a
Joan
message.
Joan asked, and so we gave her the link. So I think that's another way to do it.
I don't know who would want to come here just to listen in on all this stuff.
Exactly.
And that's what we hope the board members will communicate to members what's going on. So, but if they want to come, they can. All right, so I want to give a shout out to all of you guys because you have really made a difference to Catesol this quarter. I mean, I can't tell you, we have so many new members and so many events, and I'll get to that in a minute, Reagan. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody that you've done a really, really good job in your jobs this year. I really appreciate you. And we have a new ELLEIG coordinator. Elsa, do you want to talk about that for a minute? Is Elsa here? I think she's here. She probably is she's probably like, oh, I didn't know I was going to talk. No. Okay, maybe she's not here. Anthony, you're muted.
Yeah, she was here, but now I don't see her in the participant list.
Okay, well, anyhow, we have a new coordinator for ELLEIG, which is, who can tell me what that means? English, literacy, language, educators?
No. No.
Oh, emerging
Lucy.
Emerging.
It has to do with.
It is
yeah, it has to-
emerging literacy, ESL, right?
Yeah,
Literacy and limited.
English. There you go. Limited English?
No.
No? Emerging literacy.
I will tell you in just one moment. I will
Okay.
go to the website.
So Gretchen is maybe not here. I thought she was coming. I wanted to say hello and welcome, but anyhow, she's new and Bentley will get her organized. And then,
Literacy and limited education.
okay, limited education, emergent literacy, and limited education. So we have that person coming on. And this is also Elsa B. She put in the board report that she wanted to talk about this, but since she's not here, I will let Reagan talk. She has another question concern about community college level position. Did you want to talk, Reagan, about that?
I can ask real quick. Yeah, sure. So I'm just a little bit concerned because my my level assistant or my assistant chair, like we're in communication sometimes, but like he's never attended a meeting, and I don't know, like I'm kind of concerned for like what happens next and or what I should be doing about this, or the level of participation. Yeah, I have like reached out and we do sometimes talk, but like, yeah.
Get together.
Yes, I just keep pushing.
Yeah, see what you can do to get him
Okay.
involved. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you have problems, let me know.
Reagan, it's Anthony. If why don't you, can you email me too? I'm incoming president, and so
Yes.
I don't know if that means anything, but maybe that can help. So
Yeah,
we can talk about what happens in the fall.
Yeah,
Anthony, it does directly affect you.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, because
right.
he's the incoming. Okay, so we'll come back if Elsa shows back up. San Diego, is San Diego here in the house? Chapter? They requested our current financial report, which we do. Okay, Ryan, is it Ryan or Ryan? You can
Hi,
unmute
it's
you.
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah, I was going through our old treasurer's reports and I realized I hadn't had one for a few years. So that's what that request was for.
Okay, well, we do this every meeting, so.
I know, I just had
Yeah.
one specifically for like our chapter. I kind of asked because I was confused. So
So because we were in such big debt, we could not give chapters any seed money this year.
okay.
But we're hopefully coming out of that debt after the fall conference. So once we get out of debt and we have to have our reserve of 50,000 for the conference in 2022. Once we have that, we can start looking at seed money for chapters and IGs and such. Anthony, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ryan, since you said that the person was asking about, from looking at something from a couple of years ago. So I would just say that the finances at Catesol have been consolidated like quite a bit since then. And to Susan's point where, really it's a very different kind of financial, or it's moving in the direction of a very different financial structure than how Catesol used to be. Like San Diego, or the chapters used to have their own bank accounts and things like that. That doesn't exist anymore. So maybe if your chapter person has some like specific questions that we can help out with, they can always email Nirmala or, email catesol@catesol.org. But really, I think things have been greatly consolidated since, if you were looking at something from a few years back. So.
Yeah,
And we're hoping
my question.
that answers.
Yeah, that's helpful
Okay,
because I was
okay.
looking a few years back and thinking, what happened to the years between then and now?
So we had no money and we almost went bankrupt, but we kind of dug ourselves out and we're still working on it with everybody's help.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That's the gist, I think.
And we're getting there. So it's a slow process, but thank you for the question and thank you for being here. And I think we're trying to be way more transparent with our reports. Okay. So thank you again. I feel like more board reports. I'm reading more and more board reports. So that means more people are filling them out, and that's really good, because if you say that there's an action item for the board and you put it in your board report, it gets on the level thing here, and that's where I bring you up. So thank you for filling out those board reports, and keep at it. Now we are at number 10. Marcia, you have about 10 minutes to talk about everything.
Alrighty-roo, and I have a few hats to show you from different, okay, may I share the screen, madam?
You may, let me stop. All right, you're good.
If I can do the sharing now, and what does it say I'm sharing? Let's see, I haven't picked it.
You're sharing your calendar. Is that helpful?
Yeah, okay, well, obviously I didn't share the right thing. I guess I clicked the button before I knew what I could share. How about if I do this one?
Yep.
Okay, so a few ideas from my hats as the web manager, professional development coordinator, event registrar, and so on. So as far as the web goes, wait, I'm going in the wrong direction. Okay, so on our homepage, major things that have changed, we've got woohoo, 2,000 members. I changed the graphic to show that. We hit Susan's goal, and that is cool. Upcoming events are always changing, and I've always updated those calendar events. We have a lot of graphic ads that advertise different events. Under communication, you will also see the newsletter. So that is Carrick McDonald's first issue, and that's issue number 1 of volume 54. So take a look at that under communication. Under resources for online training, we're keeping up with some of the recorded sessions that people are doing. Not everybody records. Some people do record, and then they get around to submitting their recordings. And so then I create a web page that will allow our Catesol members to go there and look at the recordings. Spring conference, of course, that's being our big push. And so Spring Conference has quite a few different web pages. And I'm always working on those. We work a lot on trying to get the advertisers and exhibitors, and we're still, I think, looking for more people to advertise for us, right, Margie? And Song and so forth. And next push will be to bring up the program. So I'm working on some pages that will help us highlight our plenaries, which we have one of on Friday on DEI, and we have another one on Saturday, which will be more towards transforming with technology and online learning. Last time our board meeting met, we talked about how to establish a chapter web presence. So behind the scenes, I've been doing a lot of thinking and planning and getting input from our web advisory and other people who are interested in how we're going to set that up. So I actually put together a paper on how we're going to get established, so that the various chapters which are going to be moving over will have some sort of basic plan. This just tells why we're doing it, and I did actually discover that there are a lot of websites out there, some of them which are managed, and some of them we have no idea who's managing them, which is one of the major problems about having websites with Catesol's name on it, but nobody's minding the shop. So our idea is to bring them all in. So I have learned by working with the various committees. We've done the spring virtual committee for conferences and the state and all that. So with all that, I've learned how we can set that up with creating a project/committee, which is the nomenclature of MemberLeap. And then we set up project chairs, which have their own little ins and outs. And then we set up pages. So I will create one main page and a grid for that chapter and share it out to the chairs of the project, and so on and so forth. So I've already, because Los Padres is the one that's been most forward thinking, and they've got their act together. I started with them, and I am going to figure out what are the possible things that everyone needs to know. So I figured that after our spring convention, which is going to be May, that
Mhm.
starting in June, that all the chapters which are ready to start thinking about moving over, that we'll have some get-togethers, which I'm calling training. And I just brainstorm a bunch of things that I think that would be helpful for everyone to know in that regard. Okay, so that's sort of where I've been. That's what my action has been on trying to set something up for our future. All right, so so far so good. We're going to move on to our next topic, which is, I can't see which way does my mouse go. Okay. As you recall, the events are always on the calendar. I've got board meetings, so every time you want to come to the board, just go there and you'll be able to get your login. All the PD events are on the calendar, and of course, the spring virtual. I'm proud to say that since the last board meeting, February 5th, we've had 17 professional development events by our interest groups and chapters and levels. And then we've also had our interest group council meet a couple of times. So we're pretty active, these IGs. We rock. And we put together lots and lots of things. So I just want to let you see briefly all of the kinds of things that we have offered from our catesol.org opportunities for people to get professional development. So I think it's just really great. And I've got 2 whole pages of this stuff. And you know, this is basically all the stuff that you will find in both the calendar and on the events. As the co-coordinator of TOP, I'm proud to say that we've had one meeting every single month since December, January, February, March. We've already had all of these really excellent workshops, lots of interaction from members and non-members. Upcoming, we've got one in each of the 4 coming months, but I just put down the next 2, which are April and May. So some ideas, as you might guess, are a little more active than others. But anytime anybody has a question about how to do an event and how to get people to come, I'm always there to help people think about it. So I do want to remind everyone that if you'd like to do an event, large or small, you know, it could be very simple, casual coffee clatch sort of a thing, or a meeting to just huddle and try to figure out what is it we want to do, or a full-blown webinar type of a thing. It doesn't really matter. I will help you with it. What you need to do is to reserve the room and a date on the Catesol calendar, because I try very hard not to have things that will be in conflict with another Catesol event. So I try to put all the Catesol events right there on the calendar for us to see whether it's something you're interested personally in going to or not. I put that there so it helps to organize who's got the Zoom room doing what. Okay, so that form, I will give a link to this to our secretary. That will be on there, and we will be able to see all the great things that Catesol is doing. So if you have any questions, feel free to say so. Any questions?
Any questions for Marcia?
Any questions, any comments?
If not, everybody's thanking you. So we'll move on then to Nancy, social media and DEI news for 10 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Susan, may I share the screen?
Yeah, I'm not sharing.
Okay. Am I sharing? No, I'm not sharing. I stopped.
Okay, let me see if I can share. Yeah, it doesn't look like I've been made a co-host.
You don't need to be a co-host. You just need to click on share screen.
Okay, so share sound. Okay.
No,
Let's
share
see.
screen.
Can everybody see
go.
my?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. All right. So first of all, I have a couple of things. So I'll split my time evenly between the two social media and diversity. I'll start first with social media. I did want to give a shout out to Dr. Emmy Min. I went over the Facebook. What I do is we have 4 social media platforms. We have Facebook, LinkedIn as of a couple of weeks ago. we also have Twitter and Instagram. But what I'll do is I'll take you through the posts and how, what sort of hits they're generating. She had 52/9. Dr. Emmy Min, one of our board members, her event is on the 23rd. It meant that she got 9 post clicks, which meant that her page was shared. So I think there'll be a direct correlation, hopefully, between the number of hits and engagement and attendance. Let me see. Why is it not letting me present? Okay, if I wanted to advance my, I'm used to stop
At the bottom there, there's a little arrow that goes to the right. I think that will advance for you.
Okay, you know what I'll do is I'll go back and I'll now I'll share it, and it might let's go back. Okay. All right, so now I'm back on. Okay.
You're not sharing though.
Yes.
There,
So now
there
I'm
you
back. Okay, so it's not as oh, so the second yes, so this particular this is a post that was from Anthony. This one had 57 and 0. What I find for the events, whether it's the Tide conference or something like announcing an event or a deadline, that we get a lot of it, we reach a lot of people, but we don't get a lot of post engagement. But it's in the top for this the top 10 for this month. Next, I also wanted to give a shout out to our inland chapter, the Bay Area chapter. And the first time that they were on Facebook, they generated around, they got another 1 or 2 post engagement clicks. So let's see, and I'm getting that thing where I can't advance my screen again. So I will just do it manually, and I'll show you my screen in a second. Sorry about that. And I'll go back. All right, so I'm sharing now. So yes, so long story short, if I go back to the first one, this was in April. So far, this is in the lead out of all of our events that have been posted. And by lead, I'm looking at not only the crowd that's reached, but the amount of engagement afterwards. Then I went over briefly Anthony's, and then the inland chapter. This one, this was the second time that Marsha had a post. It goes out every Wednesday during prime time, which is 11 o'clock on Facebook. The second time it went and we tried something different, Marsha, when she filled out her Google form, she said I could help create an image. So this image garnered maybe 20 more, reached 20 more people. And the engagement level, we had 125 and 4. Bentley and that chapter, Orange County, an insane amount of engagement. Whenever they have a post, whether it's a really long-winded post, a lot of images, no matter what, Orange County, their chapter, whenever they have an event, we get 19 plus engagements, which means that in addition to reading the post, members are sharing the post or registering or going to a website. So I'm also looking at post engagement. Now, Margie's, the Catesol Journal also got a lot of foot traction. 123 were reached, and 123 were reached, 4 engagements. I'm fast forwarding now to our conference, 181 during its debut. So again, keep an eye on the graphics that you use, because sometimes there is a correlation between the graphics that you use and the amount of foot traffic you get to your event. As far as social media news, I've mentioned to Los Padres, the chapter to which I belong, and the board, which I also am a member of. that we will be I'll be meeting with the various chapter coordinators. I had worked with Anthony on setting up a social media needs analysis. So I'll be making my rounds to you shortly to find out what your social media coordinator and you as a chapter coordinator, what your needs are. At present, I'm finalizing a 42-minute interview that I had with Randy. I will be interviewing Dr. Emmy Min of USC for a board profile, and I'm recruiting prospects for a diversity profile series. Lastly, last two things, I've launched Catesol LinkedIn, and I will give you an update on the, let me switch really quickly to our social media, our mobile app. This is saved here. Well, actually, I'll go quickly to the Google response. So far, we have had 8 official, 2 unofficial. I'm talking about Inland Empire and one other. So as far as the social media guide and the request form, the requests vary, and the majority of the requests are time sensitive. I want to say with the case with Marcia was generous and wanted me to help with she said I could create a graphic. And as a result, we garnered 20 to 30 more people and also raised our engagement. Now I'll just quickly go to our app. This is our mobile app that I'm working on. I hope to get it to its next iteration before the next state conference. So you'll be able to go to your member access, you'll be able to go to your profile, you'll be able to go register for a conference, any one of the amazing PD events that, that Marcia has put together. And there's also a donate button for Catesol Ed Foundation. So that wraps up the social media aspect. And I'll get back to the PowerPoint and diversity, my other hat. As far as professional development, I've assembled a panel and workshops for Saturday. We will have 3 workshops on Saturday, and in synchrony and in alignment with all the amazing work that Marcia is doing for professional development, I will be assembling a professional development webinar series for the summer. So I will be recruiting members, board members who would like to put together a diversity, equity, and inclusion web series. One of the first that we'll be putting together is one that I'll be working on with Nicole Brown Mercer on diversity, equity, and inclusion materials. And let's see, I'll go to the next one. For advocacy, I will be reaching out to members to join the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Task Force. Right now, it's it's pretty lonely up here. It's a one-person task force. So I will be reaching out to you in all shapes and forms, whether it's by way of social media, phone call, email. Secondly, more and importantly, but it's not out of order, I will be working with colleagues on drafting a statement pertaining to the AAPI hate crimes. As a former member of the White House Initiative for AAPIs, I look forward to drafting that statement. We were able to post that we'll be posting that statement. We'll be posting that statement shortly before AAPI month, and I'll work with Susan, Anthony, and Marcia for a strategic spot for that. It might be where the other statements are. And I worked with Anthony and Monica on promoting the DEI grant in the March Catesol update addendum. Quite frankly, the last charge that I was given was I needed to raise $823 before that grant. And the grant, we are having, for the grant, we have 6 applicants. And the grant I designed so that we could train teachers on best practices in diversity, equity, inclusion. Ideally, we wanted 1 from each level. In my mind, when I wrote the grant, I wanted to make sure that we could not only train pre-service and in-service teachers, but that we could meet once a month before the state conference, so that by the time we have the state conference next year, we have 5 different diversity panels, right? 1 from each level. So that was the goal of the grant. And the other sort of caveat is that I'll be recruiting members, throughout the organization to help train them. And then I think I'm just about, as far as research, I've submitted 2 book chapters to Catesol with regard to diversity, equity, inclusion, 1 Catesol Journal article proposal on social justice, diversity, equity, inclusion. And I had a chance to co-author a book review with Kara. And the book review is important because it's one of the books that we'll be using for the diversity, equity, and inclusion grant. And then I believe that's it. So thank you for your time, and I will be reaching out to you to donate to our diversity, equity, inclusion task force of the grant because we're training teachers. And secondly, I'll be reaching out to you to join the task force. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nancy. And now we're going to go back to Reagan Clark, who wants to report on the AB 705 initiative that's been going on very heavily in the chat box, in the discussion forums with the community college. Reagan, are you there to talk to us?
I am. Yeah, I can do that. So there was quite a bit of conversation that started a couple of weeks ago as the toolkit for AB 705 came out. So I'm not personally like super up to date or understand all of the ins and outs. So Sydney Rice actually put together a little blurb for me to kind of explain, just so that I could update the board on what's going on. And Susan asked me to share. So I will do that now. Okay, so Sydney says that the current toolkit can be misleading for people trying to set up compliance with AB 705, as the focus is really on English and math. Some changes were suggested that would clearly highlight the difference between English and math and then ESL. So they said that some changes should be easy to make, but will take some time. So they're expecting to maybe see changes by July. And then this committee had also asked for a separate toolkit to be produced, which will just be taking, that will just take even longer. So she says, then the issue of the plan, the issue of the plan, which is due by colleges in July. So the plan can include an assessment to be used for placement if the college so chooses. The committee and the CCCCO are in the process of vetting new assessments to make recommendations to the Board of Governors Assessment Committee. So she says this process is all still a little bit unclear to her, and they're just trying to set up times for the committee to see different presentations on the assessments that are being considered, but they're not quite sure about that yet. Yes, and then so Kathy Wada is putting forward a resolution to the Academic Senate to remove restrictions on ESL classes being counted towards the ability of ESL students to earn certificates for credit classes. The current wording on records is restrictive, as it says just basic skills and ESL courses. And the resolution is simply asking for policy to be reflective of this distinction. So another suggestion that was made was that ESL students would be counted as population in terms of student equity and achievement instead of a submit set. And then that would allow them to receive services, and the ESL programs would be able to access more funding. So that is the update.
And the
of what
why
some
this
of
is
that
so
comes.
important is it's really an equity issue for community college students, and K-12 students going to community college and community college students going to college university. And if there is a problem with, English is their third, fourth, maybe fifth language, and it's not remedial. And there is a fight going on about that always. And so it's really important that we support. And we're glad to have Sydney and Kathy Wada because they're very supportive. But if you are in a community college, we would ask that you please talk to your academic senate for to support this resolution.
Yeah, and they were also asking Catesol for, our support and to contact was it the academic senate? To submit a report or to submit some kind of statement.
Yeah, and we need somebody to write that statement. That would be either you or Kathy Wada or Sydney, and then we can approve the statement or not, but we really can't write the statement.
I'm definitely not the person. I mean, Susan, you and I talked about this. I'm definitely not the person to write that statement, but just from what was going on in the message board, nobody was really willing to write that statement. So
well, maybe you could ask Sydney to do it and then we can approve it.
Okay.
I think it's important. So, and we can do that via email.
Yeah. Okay. And then Sydney's, I'm working with Sydney and Kathy and probably Meryl Siegel to be talking about this at one of the level sessions. Yeah. Thank you.
If we could get something written and then we can approve it via email, that will really help the process.
Separately. Yes. Yes.
And
Okay.
I'm glad that you're on it. That's great.
Thank you.
Susan?
Yes.
Can I just make a suggestion? Because Reagan, I looked at the conversation that was going on the message board about AB 705, and it did occur to me, there were a lot of people who were writing on the board with their ideas and thoughts and what have you. So, one other idea that came to mind kind of after the fact was, what about if, in essence, we sort of made it like a collaborative Google document? Like if people are already like typing things out on the message board anyway, maybe they would be willing to, just kind of share those thoughts in a collaborative document. And then maybe that's something that Catesol could then, or you, in the lead could look at with, maybe Sydney and Kathy and Meryl and Susan, because then you kind of have the bones of a letter, and then it's a matter of just kind of refining it a bit and then just saying, well, I mean, there's probably a process to say that Catesol supports.
We have to vote. Yeah, we'll
right.
have to
Yeah,
vote.
they're right. But I think just in terms of assembling something, let's take advantage of the technology that's out there and just see if maybe if people would be willing to kind of, add a few pieces here and there, and then it's not left to one person to write it. It's something that's being collaboratively built. So just a thought.
It sounds like you have a good start right there, Reagan, with what you just read to us. So I would suggest doing that, and then we can do a vote, because I think it's really important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I reached out to basically everybody who was talking on that message board and asked, trying to put a panel together of who would be willing to come together. And those are the three people that I'm going to end up working with, I think, for that. And
panel. I'm passionate about this too. So, I mean, I'm not involved anymore, but I'm still passionate about it. So I'd be happy to read what you're writing and make
thank you so much.
Okay. So I think Kimmy and Sung are not here from what I see, but
Sung said she will come after her class ends at 3:30.
Right. So yeah.
Okay. So let's come back to her. We'll come back because she'll be in here momentarily. So do you want to go to 13, Lily and Nora?
Go ahead, Lily.
So one thing we've been doing lately on the executive committee is trying to look through our bylaws. And basically what we recognize is that our bylaws are not entirely up to date with the way that we do things. Like basically, each of us comes in as a new leader, we learn what we can from the previous person and we just sort of run with it. But we want to make our bylaws reflect the way the organization actually works, and vice versa. If there's something in our bylaws that we should be doing but are not doing, we want to make sure that we're aware of that. So we are recruiting volunteers who would be willing to look through the bylaws with Nora and I and make some comments about areas that either you think need to be changed or things you notice in the bylaws that maybe we're not doing and we need to be more aware of. This is something that only the full membership can vote on in October at our business meeting. But looking through this project, the bylaws are about 60 pages long, and there's a considerable number of things that could be changed. So we want to get a jump start on that. And I think it would be really useful to get volunteers from different, levels or different types of positions, because we each have our own perspective. Like Nora and I can speak to what the secretary, does or does not do, but we don't necessarily know that much about some of the other positions. So any and all are welcome for this not super fun, but pretty important job.
Very fun. Don't you love reading bylaws? It's the first thing you're supposed to do when you join a board, read the bylaws.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're eye-opening. So yeah, I recommend folks to come in, and as Lily said, a variety of perspectives would be super helpful. And yeah, we can crack jokes and share silly words and try to make it fun, because you have to have humor.
So shall they email the
Put
secretary?
your name in chat right now.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're interested, put your name in chat. You can also email us at catesolsecretary@gmail.com. And don't feel like you have to be an expert on the organization. I don't really feel like any of us are. You can provide the perspective on the position that you do, and that would be useful to us.
Thank you. So I think Song is here now. Song, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry that at your class.
Yeah,
was like
sorry, I'm late.
we're rushing you from one meeting to another, which is not good, but we're glad you're here. So do you want to give a report on the spring virtual conference?
Yes, it is. The spring virtual conference is coming along. Right now, everything is pretty much set. We've accepted all the proposals, and all the acceptance and the decline letters went out. And now currently our program chair, Denise, and Margie, who's our platform coordinator, they're working together to set the in-event, our platform up for the conference. We are, as of now, let me go ahead and do the count. We have 188 people who registered as of now. We hope to have more. So if you are, thank you so much for promoting the conference. If you are going to be at the conference presenting the level forum, please make sure you register, because you, as a board member, you get to register for $20. And as a presenter as well, it's the same rate. So I know some of you haven't been registered. So I think what Marge is going to do, she's going to take a look at the information, and she's going to send us the list so we can kind of send you a reminder if you haven't registered for the conference yet. Now, Kimmy and I are continuously meeting every Thursday from 11:30 to 12:30, and Sunday from 6 to 7 Pacific Standard Time. So if you have any questions or you want to pop in, welcome to do that. But I think it's going to be a wonderful conference. I'm super excited. And thank you for everyone's help. I mean, we couldn't have done it without your help. So thank you so much. That's it.
Thank you for all your work you're doing on the conference. 180, did you say 186?
188 as of now.
188 people a month before the conference. That's pretty incredible.
Great, wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Susan?
So, yeah.
Sorry, can I, I'm remembering when Song was speaking, Nancy was talking about our social media activity. And so, you know, the conference is being promoted via social media. So just in general, everyone, if you are on social media on any of those platforms, please, you know, when those conference posts come out, if you can, share them with your colleagues. Make sure that you're, retweeting or reposting or what have you. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to promote Catesol as well as via social media too. And this is the perfect event to be promoting. So.
And we're highlighting our members, which is really good. I mean, this is completely from the membership, and it's really nice to see that. And so you guys have done a really good job, really organized. So Anthony and I, so we have NERMLA for the 2022 conference, and we're going to start working on that in tandem with the 2021 state conference, which we still don't have. We're working, we have 4. You want to talk about it, Anthony?
Sure. So Susan and I met with 4 folks on Monday, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember. Some people who responded to a survey that we posted in one of the updates, I believe, if people were interested in participating or being a part of any of the conference committees for the variety of conferences coming up. So starting with the state in the fall, but also thinking about regionals coming back in 2022, and then also the in-person state conference now in Pasadena in 2022 as well. So we met with some 4 people, kind of talked through the process of being a chair for a conference committee for a state conference. And so we're waiting to hear back from those people about their level of interest. So again, that would be for the state in the fall, which will be virtual. We also, so we're waiting to hear back from those people. We also have a few folks too who we wanted to kind of first see about finding a chair or chairs for that conference, but we also have some other people who expressed interest in joining, potentially joining a conference committee as well. So those may be some other people who would be on board for the fall conference as well. So I'll leave it at that. Susan, if there's anything you want to add.
No, I also want to give a shout out to Carrie and Billy, who are doing the YouTube channel, because you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes, but they're working really, really hard. They are taking all the presentations from the state conference, captioning them and putting them on YouTube, because we promised our members a ridiculous amount of time, 5 years, to see the videos, because the platform told us we could do that. Come to find out, no, it ends in September. So we're trying to make that available to them. And we are going to have another option for people who didn't go to that conference that want to pay for the access to those videos for $20. And we think that will be successful because we have already had 2 people pay for it where there's no place to go. They just saw it on the website and they spent the $20, so we had to refund them. But yeah, so we think that'll be popular. So that's in the works, and I wanted to thank Carrie and Billy for doing all that work. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I think we're at the end of the meeting here.
I got a couple reminders, Susan.
Okay.
Besides,
go ahead.
Just the regular ones. So the regular ones are, please fill out your volunteer hours and the meeting reflection. And thanks to those of you who've done that already.
Can we talk about the board report for a minute? Because I'm not finding them all. And I think some people are maybe doing it, but not putting it in the folder.
That
and
is
I can't.
Precisely why I added this.
Thank you.
So if you see on the agenda, it says, please file your board report in the appropriate folder. So I put a link. Those are both hyperlinks. So the board report is a hyperlink to the template that you can copy. And the appropriate folder is a hyperlink to the big folder of board reports. And once you click on that inside, it's divided into smaller categories. So I was just sending that out again in case you've lost track of the link. Happy to help you if you don't know the right place to put it, but there's no need to send it to us directly. Nora and I have been getting some of them, and I know we're teachers and we like to, know that we've sent something to the right place, but we trust you. No need to send the board report to Nora and I. You can just put it directly in the folder. If you're having trouble finding that folder, feel free to reach out. We can help with that.
And maybe when you ask for the board report next time, mention all of that, because
I did.
Yeah. I don't get any, if I don't see it in that folder, I don't read it. And if it's not read, you don't get on the agenda if you have an issue.
I did put it there. I think I put it there every time, but I
Okay.
know the email contains a lot of information, so maybe I'll put it in a special color or something. I'll try to
Put it in
try to
red. That seems to work. If people aren't colorblind, they can see red.
And the other reminder I wanted to make was that we've started adding the board meeting minutes and the video link to the recording. Thanks to Carrie for your help with that, Carrie and Billy. And so now if you want to get either the minutes or the recording of the meeting, you can find both of those in the same place. It's inside Memberleap. And I have sent out instructions previously about how to do it, but I know it can be a little bit confusing. So I made a screencast that literally shows you how to navigate the Memberleap site and where to click until you get to that place. So I put a hyperlink to that as well. If you're not sure how to get there, the screencast should show you how to access that. And thanks to Marcia for that idea of putting the link to the recording directly inside the minutes. I think that's awesome. So it's very easy to find both in the same place.
So a lot of stuff is happening online. So the chapter events, I think we just have to refer to the website. There's so many events going on that I can't list them all. But we will have our spring conference May 7th, 8th, right, so? And it's going to be a good one. So we hope you're all going to be there. We need to talk about the board meeting. So we're not going to we're going to have a virtual conference, and it might, I think we can still plan our board meeting before the conference. The way we did it last year is that we had the final board meeting for this year's board in October, then we had the conference, and then we had the new board meeting. And at the conference, at the town hall, that is where I give Anthony the power. Or not the town hall, is it the business meeting? It's the business meeting, right? Yeah, at the town hall, I give you guys all your certificates for all your hard work. And at the business meeting, I give Anthony virtually the gavel. And he becomes president. And it's important that we kind of all be there for this because, you know, Anthony's been really good on helping me a lot. So I was thinking, since we were going to have the conference on Halloween weekend, maybe Friday, October 28th for the last board meeting virtually. What do you guys think?
Sorry, can you repeat those dates, Susan?
So I was thinking October 28th or 29th, maybe the 29th, because the 28th is probably a Thursday. So I was thinking.
Is the conference we're thinking is the following weekend, right?
Yeah, but we haven't decided that yet.
Right.
You want to do it early? We could do it in mid-October. I mean, I'm open. When I give Anthony the gavel is totally anytime. It's really hard, but you know, I'm ready. So we need to decide when to have that meeting. So do you think mid-October might be better?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, somebody just signed into Catesol.
The gavel switchover happens right at the end of the conference.
Yeah, the gavel switchover happens at the business meeting at the conference. But the last board meeting is the week, is usually the Thursday of the conference, but we're not having the conference. So we should do it in mid-October, I think.
Good idea.
Good.
What do you think? The last board meeting, and then we'll have a break, we'll have the conference, and then we'll have the gavel virtually. I mean, I'm not gonna be able to see him. Maybe by then we'll be able to get together and I can hand it to him. I don't know.
I'm vaccinated, Susan. You and me can meet up somewhere like in, I don't know, San Jose or something.
And we can take a picture of me handing over the gavel for.
Susan, I do have one question. So beyond or including this October meeting, you have this August 27 meeting listed. Is that still happening as well?
Yes.
Okay,
And
because you keep saying the last meeting, but we actually have the August and the October. Okay.
But this one is not been scheduled, so we need to do that so that people can put it in their calendar. Because it's not going to be Thursday from 11 to 4. No. And I just want you to know somebody has signed me out of the Catesol account. So if I lose the connection, you'll know why. I think somebody tried to sign in as Catesol at catesol.org. So, okay, so mid-October Friday would be what date? Let's put it down because you guys need to put it in your calendar.
So August 27th is the board meeting beforehand.
Well, we could do August 27th.
No, I mean, I'm saying that's
After
August-
August the 27th, we need to find a date in October. So why not October 22nd?
yeah.
Yeah, October 22nd works. Let's do that. Everybody okay with October 27th, same time? Okay.
Same time, mean 11 to 4, or do you mean?
No,
same-
no, we're not doing a meeting from 11 to 4. Thank you very much. 2 to
That's
4, 2 to
fine.
4, 2 to 4, 2 to 4. I'll put it on the agenda now that I know. It's been an empty spot. So what do we say, the 22nd?
The
Yeah.
22nd from 2 to 4.
That'll be my last board meeting. And
Well,
then
no.
Anthony, huh?
Last full board meeting.
Yes. The business meeting will happen at the conference, and then we'll have the town hall and the business meeting. And then I'll be your past president. Okay, so I just want to say, I feel really good about this organization right now. I feel like people are really engaged with us. The board is engaged with us. Our membership is engaged with us. The schools are engaged with us. And so I just can continually want to say thank you for all that you've done and keep doing it, because it's going to take a lot more digging before we get ourselves. We really need to have a reserve of money. You know, TESOL has $4 million in reserve. We have zero. We're just trying to pay our bills every month. So now that we got our bills paid off more or less, and we get the 50,000 for the conference, then we need to start building so that we have money to spare, so we can invest in such. So that's my thoughts. I mean, I have goals and we're meeting them. So it's yay, Catesol. Yay, you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you. Don't forget to fill out the meeting reflection, because I read them and you see that changes to the meeting happen because your suggestions in the meeting reflection. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Anything other?
Susan,
Yes.
one more thing. I know that there's somebody here who's having a birthday today. Did we say anything about that?
Today is a birthday?
Yeah, today. It's Margie's birthday.
Is it?
It is. That's what she told me
Margie.
earlier. We had a meeting a while back, and she told me it was her birthday today.
No wonder we are getting along so well. We're both in the same month. Happy birthday. Everybody ready to sing? Turn on your microphones. Microphones on.
You might want to stop recording.
Yeah, let's stop recording. Good idea. Okay.